devotion, dedication. Also, you know, she's got maybe she's too humble to say, too modest to say, but she's got a great fighting spirit, no doubt. She's a warrior, goes out there and doesn't give a single game. Actually, she has probably the most bagels of anyone in women's tennis. It speaks about how seriously and professionally she's taking every single point and game on the court. So that's very admirable. I really like that kind of champion spirit and mindset.
No, yeah, I would be lying to you if I said I had no reservations. Obviously, you guys know who I am and the things I speak about, and I was pretty much on almost every player call that I...
In what has become one of the most talked about controversies in the WTA this year, the quarrel between Coco Gauff and Belinda Bencic has taken an unexpected twist. What started as a simple argument on the court swiftly intensified, drawing attention from tennis fans and players alike. And now the top tennis player in the world, Novak Djokovic, a player, has emerged to express his admiration for Coco Gauff. The drama began when Bencic accused Gauff of unsportsmanlike behavior solely for her claims to eventually unravel, revealing a different tale. Now with Djokovic joining the conversation, the spotlight on this continuing saga is shining brighter than ever. Let's examine the specifics of this unfolding drama and what it means for the future of both players. Novak Djokovic insisted that Coco during the game, Gauff did nothing improper. He explained that Coco was simply speaking out to ensure every issue was counted fairly. But Belinda Bencic trying to undermine Coco's legitimate worries by falsely depicting her as in the wrong. Djokovic supported Coco, stating that Bencic's claims of Gauff, the referee's manipulation, was totally unjust. Bencic seemed to be shooting shots at Coco, seeking to disturb her focus and cause her to lose her game. Let's hear precisely what was said during this contentious trade.
Coco responded, "There's nobody in the stadium. It's been so respectful. I treat your team with respect. We treat each other with respect. The ball was a drop."
Novak Djokovic's support for Coco Gauff was spot on, as she was the one unfairly targeted in this circumstance. What came next was nothing short of remarkable. Coco Gauff went on to defeat Belinda Bencic in front of a worldwide audience, showcasing her incredible resilience and mental toughness. Despite Bencic taking the first set and appeared powerful, Coco never lost her focus or gave up. As the match progressed, Gauff honored her team and her dedication, flipping the script completely. With unparalleled tenacity, she controlled the following. Bencic was left behind after 2 sets. It was a potent moment that brought to mind everyone should not undervalue the power and determination of a determined black woman. Not only did Coco Gauff respond with her game, she ensured that speak up later as well. She was unambiguous in stating that she had never disrespected her opponent, but she also acknowledged the strain that had surrounded the contest. Gauff admitted that to say she wasn't would be dishonest. Impacted by Belinda's actions, she realized exactly what Bencic was trying to do, irritate her, and disturb her concentration. But Coco managed to evident that she ultimately gave Bencic precisely what she required. An instruction in resiliency and maintaining concentration under pressure.
No, yeah, I would be lying to you if I said I had no reservations. Obviously, you guys know who I am and the things I speak about, and I was pretty much on almost every player call that I...
On the court, Coco Gauff's reaction was perfectly measured. She went over to the circumstance with extraordinary maturity and calmness. Coco made it known that she wouldn't say adversely about Bencic or respecting her team. She underlined that respect should be reciprocal, and even though she has her own team in the best sense, it is clear that the same amount of respect isn't always returned by Bencic or other participants. Despite obstacles and negativity, Coco keeps rising above everything, keeping her dignity, and remaining focused on what genuinely matters. Novak Djokovic stressed that Coco Gauff's behavior was never directed against anyone individually. Instead, they were motivated by her ferocious will to fight. He called Coco is a fighter, someone who enters the court's decision to not push her opponent an inch away. Up to their limits. Djokovic completely rejected Belinda's allegations regarding Coco, indirectly implying that fighters don't use such strategies. He was made it obvious that Coco's priority is constantly competitive and motivated to success, not on undermining her rivals.
Devotion, dedication. Also, she's got maybe she's too humble to say, too modest to say, but she's got a great fighting spirit, no doubt. She's a warrior, goes out there and doesn't give a single game. Actually, she has probably the most bagels of anyone in women's.
Additionally, Novak's evaluation was accurate. Because to Coco's willingness to battle for her rights, even in court. An ideal instance of this occurred during her US Open match against Laura Siegrist, where it became very evident that the referee was making every effort to obstruct Coco's prospects. With questionable calls and what seemed to be an obvious prejudice in favor of her rival, the annoyance mounted. Rather of letting things slide, Coco challenged the referee Heaton, publicly contesting the impartiality of the decisions. It was clear that the purpose of delayed calls was to annoy her. Flo. However, Coco had no intention of backing down. Her fearlessness in speaking out didn't go against the injustice undetected. The fans in the stands and the commentators alike stood behind her, praising her for raising her voice and drawing attention to the unjust acts. It was a stunning display of resilience, and the crowd's tremendous support was a tribute to the respect and their respect for her fortitude and determination. Coco wasn't done there. Once the referee was finally forced to declare Sun to be in violation, something that had only occurred once out of 4 occurrences, Coco made it evident that fines had to be applied uniformly and equitably. She held the referee responsible, continuously doubting her decisions and insisting that the rules be applied properly. Coco was not going to allow the scenario slide. She made sure the referee knew she wouldn't back down till justice was done. Her steadfast resolve conveyed a powerful message. Gauff Coco would always stick up for herself and demand equity regardless of the difficulties she encountered. As expected, the aftermath of the match unfolded predictably. Laura Siegrist, obviously shaken by her loss, she started crying. Throughout the press briefing, she trying to paint herself as the victim, stating that Coco had wronged her. In an effort to win compassion, Seaman tried to divert the focus of the story, even though Coco has already revealed the unfair conduct of both her and the officiate both on and off the court. But everyone could see the reality. Who saw Coco's courageous defense of justice?
It's the first time I'm crying in a press conference. As a tennis player, you are a performer. You owe the people. You owe the kids that watch. And I'm just a bit, at the end of the day, I go home and I can look at myself and I can say, I did a great job.
Amidst this dispute, Novak Djokovic has demonstrated once more why he is regarded as one of the best players in the history of tennis. By looking behind the surface-level drama and seeing through the propaganda around the circumstance, he displayed the type of clarity and vision that only a truly champion has. Although many were engrossed in the story that Belinda Bencic tried to create, Djokovic stayed concentrated on the truth. He realized that the issue wasn't Coco Gauff, but rather she suffered from unjust treatment and was being falsely accused. Djokovic's steadfast backing for Coco signaled a strong message, not just regarding his admiration for her as a performer, but also regarding his dedication to justice and integrity in the sport. In a world in which narratives in the media can be altered and players may take sides due to pressure, Djokovic stood tall, refusing to be persuaded by false charges. His words supplied much-needed validation for Coco, underlining that her actions on the court were motivated by her intense will to fight and a desire for justice, not by any malicious motives. Because of this assistance, Coco Gauff's position has been reinforced while Belinda Bencic is currently under tremendous pressure. The world of tennis is observing closely, and the truth has been revealed. Coco's resilience both on and off the she has gained the respect of not just fans but also her fellow players. In the end, Djokovic's intervention has emphasized the significance of standing by doing the right thing, making sure that the truth triumphs and reminding everyone that in the tennis world, justice ought to always be the final winner. What do you think about Novak Djokovic's endorsement for Coco Gauff in this controversy? Are you believe his insight helped shed light on the situation's reality? What are your thoughts on Belinda Bencic's behaviors and the pressure she's currently under confronting? Do you believe that Coco Gauff's response on and off the court sets an important example for other athletes, especially in the fight against unjust racism and mistreatment in sports? Let us understand what you think. Do you agree with Djokovic, or are you using anything else? Viewpoint on the entire circumstance? I'd love to hear your thoughts on the remarks below.